Hi everyone, this is Board Games and Bourbon, and I'm Glenn Flaherty. And right now I want to talk about 5 games that I think you will enjoy if you enjoy this channel. And these 5 games are going to be small box games specifically for 2 people. Now, I have a few recommendations that I wouldn't say are in my top 5, but are very good. Some of the disqualifying factors are it's either a little bit too easy or it takes a little bit too much time. Now, the first one I would recommend, actually anyone have, it's a fairly simple game. It's not too heavy. It's called Kahuna. And in it, you're building bridges between islands. You're trying to have area control. You're playing your cards to build bridges or blow up bridges. And the person with the most bridges somewhere takes control. And round after round, the person with the most control gets different points. And it's a lot of back and forth. It's a lot of interaction that you don't see coming because you're planning and you're focused on something. And then the person you're playing comes along and goes boom and just blows you right out of there. That game takes about half an hour to play, and that's about the time frame I'm hitting at here. So that's a really fun game. That's called Kahuna. Another honorable mention that doesn't get into the top 5 because it has a few too many parts. You have to do the setup. But it's still a fun game, but it's pretty light, is Longhorn here. And this is Bruno Cathala. And in this, what you're doing is a quality kind of like in Targi or Trajan, where you, or Mancala, where you're trying to steal cattle, and you're going between these different locations, and you're picking up cows, and then you're moving that much, and you keep moving until you can pick up the last thing on each location, which is a tile that gives you scoring ability. And the interesting quality is you do not want to get all of the one type of cow, because however many cows you have left are multiplied by the amount of cows left on the board. So you might want to mess up your opponent and just wipe the board clean, so it's multiplied times 0, or you might, be very diligent and just steal some of their powers and transfer points. You can also make somebody end up on the sheriff, in which case they lose the game instantly. So that's a really cool game, Longhorn, okay? Another one that falls a little bit short because it plays a little bit too fast for me is Tides of Time. Always a great play when you do this. Again, this is a really inexpensive game here. The card play, every card in this game is a scoring opportunity. There's 2 versions, but this one is my favorite because the other one involves a madness quality, which I really think overcomplicates something that's pretty easy breezy and cuts to the fun of it. Okay, that's Tides of Time. You play cards down, and then you pass, and then you choose another card, and you are trying to find a way to make all of your cards score all the cards you already have. And somehow I always lose this. I can never seem to outwit my way into a victory. Que sera. And the last game that doesn't make it into the top 5 that is really awesome and actually shares some qualities with some of the games I have is Watergate. And this just isn't going to be included because it takes like an hour, I would say. Is that the suggested time on here? Yeah, 30 minutes to half an hour. If it fell near half an hour, that'd be great, but it seems to take a little bit longer. And wow, this game is awesome. It's like 3 games in one. In it, you're the Washington Post versus the Nixon administration. You are playing cards, which you're going to see in another game, similar aspects. You're playing cards to either get points or to activate powers. You're going back and forth on this initiative tracker. At the same time, you are deciding if you want to blow up cards for one big power or use something minimal. Then there is another board where you are physically trying to draw lines and connect people to the event, and you're trying to impede and block, and there's an actual physical area thing that's pretty cool. So that's a great game, but again, it's a little bit too long for this. Okay, but moving on, without further ado here. Now, if you watch the channel, you know I love my roll and writes, okay? I'm going to say I have 5 games over here to my side. Now, I was going to say that they aren't in any particular order, and it would be hard for me to say. But there are 2 roll and writes in it. And the first one, if we were going to say number 5, is going to be Cosmic Run, Rapid Fire. This is a really unique roll and write too. It not only plays quickly, but it engages you in a lot of different ways. In this game, you are racing to get to planets. You are trying to navigate around mines. You roll a bunch of dice, and each of you are drafting your dice. Now, not only are you doing that, you have the opportunity to attack your opponent in this game, which is something really rare. You can even take mines, roll it, try to blow up people, try to kill off their ships, stuff like that. It's really, really cool, really, really fast. And literally, if you wanted to play it anywhere, the whole game is just a little pad of paper that's not even really bigger than the box itself. And let me see if I can show you this here. These are the die, and the die basically have like, you can attack somebody. You can move. That little triangle means you can move. You can do a power where you can move diagonally. You can change the color of another die. And the mine right there will let you attack your opponent and throw something in their way. Plus, as the rounds go on, you are rolling these die. And these are picking categories that you're blowing up of your opponent. And we're going to get a lot of noise here because I have a bunch of pencils in there. And the whole game is literally this pad of paper. So you can fit this anywhere. You can bring this on a plane if you want. It's perfect for traveling. And basically what you're doing is you're rolling die. You're trying to get from the bottom to the top. You're scoring all these little powers over here. You not only use these powers to do things, but you get points for choosing these powers over the movement tracker. The further you get up the movement tracker, the more points you get. If you get blown up, you get -7 points. But if you make it to the top, you get 20 points. So there's a lot of push and pull in that game. I really enjoy it. That is Cosmic Run. Now, from there, we're going to move on to a game that kind of was the predecessor to a lot of these initiative games in a way. And this one is Cold War CIA versus KGB. Again, this is another game that takes up almost no room. It literally has the famous Fantasy Flight Trench. It's just a few cards there. And what you're doing is you're pulling cards, and it kind of in like a game of blackjack, you have a number you're trying to hit. The objective of every space in the world that you're fighting over between the CIA and KGB has a number. It also tells you the amount of cards you can play. And when you play your cards, you can, tap them or untap them, and you can play them for a number to reach the goal number, or you play them for a power to help yourself or mess them up, or you take one out of the game. Once you win an objective, you're trying to get to 100 points, but you have the option of blowing up previous objectives to help yourself in the future. You also have agents that do certain things, double agents, where you might want to trick somebody into doing something that they had no idea you were trying to pull off. If all your agents die, you lose. If you don't have enough points, you lose. There's a bunch of different mechanics in there. And again, it's another really inexpensive game that I recommend. That is Cold War CIA versus KGB. Along that line, I'm going to introduce you to a newer game called Iron Curtain. And I know that's another military theme, political, but this is really cool because there is a spatial element and an area control quality to this game. You are taking cards, and again, you decide where you're going to put it, if you're going to use it for cue placement and area control, or are you going to use it for the power? Timing is everything. There's also, you have to take one of your cards and you have to bury it. And at the end of the game, that's going to come back to bite you perhaps. Because you're going to play all your cards, you're going to get points for dominating a country, for dominating a region. And at the end of the game, whatever card you buried, you're going to compare them. And whomever had the highest number is going to get the difference as a final score bump. Very, very cool game. I'm really liking this one. And again, this is super inexpensive. I think I got this on Amazon for like $11. And there's the whole game. Just a few cards. Okay, so that is Iron Curtain. Really recommend that for 2 people. Again, you're not going to waste too much time. 20 minutes, half an hour there. Lastly, a game I'm completely enamored by. Everyone I show this to thinks it's a masterpiece. Shobu. Wow. If you like, it's something about chess and Go are too involved. And if you play it well, it goes on forever. Whereas Shobu, you can still feel clever. You feel like you can distract somebody, but it wraps up still in 20 minutes to half an hour. Plus, it's a real fetching game. Essentially, there's 4 boards in this game, and you're moving stones. Oh, there's a good picture of it right there. You are moving stones, and you're trying to get your opponent off. And it's almost like quantum gaming in a way, because whatever you do on one board, you have to imitate on another board. And like if you go diagonally to the left, you have to go diagonally to the left on another board, but it has to flip what color it is. So if you start on a brown board, it has to be on the white board. And you're trying to push your opponent off. The other complicating factor is your first move has to not interact with anything. Your second one can. And that is really cool. I haven't played much like it. So, okay, so those are all the games I would probably recommend for you. Give those a whirl. Let me know what your thoughts are. And I know there are a ton of others, okay? But these games all hit roughly half an hour. They're not going to hurt the bank account. They're probably around $20, $30 on the outside. Watergate is probably the most expensive. I really don't remember how much that is. And everything can fit and travel easily should you need to. Okay, well, thank you so much, everyone. I hope that's helpful, and I hope those are good recommendations for you. And until next time, take care. Bye.